Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel again. Well, I have got some new ideas for you today, hopefully some new ideas to maybe inspire you to make some pages or covers or whatever for your junk journals or anything you want to use it for using free motion embroidery. Now remember, free motion embroidery is where we do it on our sewing machine. We drop the feed dogs, you put in an embroidery foot, and then you do all the motion. The machine doesn't do the motion. So literally when I'm doing these, my hands are on this and I am writing. I'm moving the fabric around under my machine. And sometimes I take a friction pen. If you know what I'm talking about, I'll show you one. And I might write my words in there first with a heat erasable pen. Friction, I'm not sure how to say it. So sometimes I'll just write my words because then all I got to do is hit it with the iron, or even a heat tool will dissolve that ink away, so that if you didn't follow it exactly, it doesn't matter. But after a little while, you don't even have to write it. You can just do it. The dragonflies were just a piece of fabric that I had dragonflies, whimsical dragonflies. So I just kind of fussy cut them out and stitched around it. So there's an idea. Now when you're doing this, make sure you're backing it with some sort of interfacing. This one's pretty heavy, so make sure you back it. This is just a little idea that I had. I think I saw something on Pinterest that inspired me. So I just cut the two little girls out. I did free motion around them, says friends, and I just added the hair and kind of stitched over it. It's embroidery yarn, embroidery floss, and then I put some seed beads in their basket to create their flowers. And here, I thought this was so sweet. I'll never leave you or forsake you. That's Hebrews 13:51. And it looks like that's what the mama is saying to the baby. So I just cut these out, just freehand cut them out. Any kind of a water drop, not eye drop, a water drop. Add some ground to it. Nothing to that. Don't we always love campers? Love the vintage campers. We're big time campers, so the Lord keeps watch over you as you come and go. That's in Psalm. So here's a little vintage camper, and I just cut these pieces out. It's a little time consuming, and then just did some sloppy stitching around it. Here's my little house that I did, and just did some free motion stitching all over it. And here's one, my presents shall go with you, and I will give you rest. That's in Exodus. So here's another vintage camper. And I just used two fabrics on here and stitched them together just for a little something different. So there's one idea for you. Now, most of you, a lot of you have already seen this piece that I did. I still haven't turned it into a journal cover. It's going to be a cover. It's going to be part of a cover. But the print was already on the fabric. So I just went by the print that was on there and stitched in 1,000 beads. And that has to be backed also. Now this one, of course, was all done by hand. And then I took some fabric markers and I just added a little color to those stems. So what else can you do with beads and all with your fabric? This is a piece of upholstery fabric, and I decided that I was going to throw it away, and I'm like, oh, don't throw that away. You know, that's our word. Don't throw that away. You can always make something. So I made, with this thread, this eyelashy looking yarn, I made like giant French knots. That's all that is. And then I gave them stems and added some bugle beads in there to make a great pocket on a journal page. This one is also made from the same piece of upholstery fabric. It had a peacock in it. This is just what's left. I love peacocks. So I've got some French knots here, and then I added French knots and beads there. That is an inchy. I don't know why he's here. I don't know where he came from. He wanted to be part of the show today. This is also a piece of upholstery fabric. I've got two pieces. I've got them front and back. So because I didn't use a stabilizer. So I've just got these two pieces, and I stitched them together around the bottom here to kind of make a ground. But then I just embellished a little bit. I put a star. I stitched a seed bead through that to hold it on, and a seed bead through a sequin, seed bead in a sequin, bugle beads, and some seed beads. That'll make a great pocket also in a junk journal. This is another one of my passions, is silk ribbon embroidery. Used to be a really big thing. It's not quite as popular anymore. I don't know why. I think it is awesome. So I did the butterfly and the flowers with silk ribbon. The rest of this is just embroidery. And then I added a few seed beads up there in that and in the center of the flowers. So I thought that turned out real good. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, this was a piece of an old quilt. That's what this one was, which will also make a great pocket. Now, if I do use that as a pocket, I'll put another backing on it so nothing gets hung up on all those threads that are on the back. Now, this is a pocket, believe it or not, that I made out of this sheer tulle-like fabric. I stitched it onto a piece of cardstock, added a frou-frou flower and a little bit of a doily and just stuff here and there, just stuff. See, there's a piece of lace up under there, and then stuck inside it is just a tag. So it just opens. I left that side open, so it's just got a little tag sticking in there. This is a piece of scrapbook paper, doubled. I stitched it, but you don't have to. I did free motion embroidery on the word piece. That could be a little card, a tuck spot, a pocket, whatever. It could be anything. This is a piece of some embroidery, wrong word, hold on, upholstery fabric, not embroidery, that had these already on there. So I didn't do that. I just cut it out and did some sloppy stitching around it and layered it up with some cheesecloth and fabric and paper just to make a great little cluster. And you see, I even used the back of a Tim Holtz something I had bought as my backing. This little piece is just made from some fabric strips. I'm also a quilter, so this was some strip piecing that I was doing, and this is what I had left over. So I decided, I think I'll just make something out of it. So I just did a little stitching, a few beads, not beads, French knots on there, make a great pocket. This is also done with strip piecing. That's upholstery fabrics, and I just had a bunch of strips that I stitched together, and I just went back and cut them into hearts. So they'll make some great little pockets and tuck spots there. There's another little piece of that. This one is the same piecing. I mean, I pieced this together, and then I added beads. I got beads here. I got French knots here. Just some stitching, and some more beads. Did some blanket stitch just to hold the whole thing together. Make a great pocket. This one's got beads. Now, these are the large seed beads, also called rocailles. If you can find those, they're real easy to find. And just stitched that up. There's another piece of that little upholstery fabric that I had. These were already on it, so I didn't do that. I just cut that out, sloppy stitched, added a few layers to it, and there's a nice little embellishment. Now, these guys are something totally different. This is a card. You can see it was a greeting card. It's one side of a greeting card because I wanted it very, very heavy. And what I did is I Mod Podged the whole back. So the whole piece was covered with glue. And then I sprinkled glitter and these little tinsel pieces that come with glitter. If you buy glitter, you'll see those. It's got large white glitter, clear. You can see that. When I got everything on there the way I wanted it, I put a layer of tulle over it, you know, tool, that real sheer fabric stuff like this, real sheer netting. Put some more Mod Podge and let the whole thing dry. So now it's hard and crunchy and make a great pocket. I may even cut it and make it into tags or something. Who knows? This is the same card. This is the other half of that little greeting card. I put fibers and eyelash yarns and all kinds of stuff. I just cut them up and sprinkled them all over it. Then I laid on top of it a used dryer sheet. Do you see that right there on that corner? You can see it's just a dryer sheet just to hold it down. And then I took my stitching and I just did some stitching to stitch that all down. Now that one I won't cut up because if I do, the little pieces may fall out. So I'll use that as is for a cover or a pocket. Okay, last one. This guy, I don't know if you can see through that or not, but it's actually sheer. You can actually see all the way through it. Let me see if you can you see my, there, now you can see through it. So it's very, very sheer. This one is also done with dryer sheets, and any of it works, but inside there I filled it full of threads and fibers and pieces of fabric, all the little giblets that we throw away. I piled them all in there in between two dryer sheets, so that kind of held it down. And then I went and just did some meander stitching, some free motion stitching. I was kind of practicing my stitching. So this is just such a cool, maybe I'll just leave it as a page inside one. Wouldn't that be awesome? So anyway, guys, that's just some more ideas for you. I hope that I have inspired you. Come see my shop. I've added a bunch of new things in there. Every day I'm adding new items. So y'all come and visit me at Gulf Coast Journals at Etsy. Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.